The author and speaker Greg McKeown said, "If you don't prioritize your life, then someone else will." That's one of those gut punch quotes for me, because it's a reminder that if I'm not putting what's first to me first, I'm often falling into someone else's schedule for me, or idea for me, or plan for me, whether they are doing that intentionally or not. If you don't prioritize your life, then someone else will. And as we continue this exploration of self-care for a new year, I want to share another technique that was really helpful for me just this past year in July, when I was hitting some walls and I realized my self-care was waning and I wasn't prioritizing what was important to me or most needed in my life at that time, which was self-care and how I was showing up in my life. Last week, I shared with you my plan to decide what each day was for and how that has helped me create a greater sense of self-care. But the other half of that had to do with how I was showing up. It had to do with the virtues and ideas I was embodying and showing up each day with. And so what I decided to do in July, and I'm going to invite you to do it now for 2023, is I identified 4 virtues that I wanted to step into and embody in a greater way every day. And the 4 virtues that I chose were preparation, receptivity, accountability, and centered. I didn't realize it till a couple weeks later, but they spelled the acronym PRAC, P-R-A-C, which worked great for me in terms of practice. It helped me to remember to practice those virtues. And I'm going to invite you to pick 4 virtues that you really want to embody and practice in 2023. Why did I choose the 4 virtues that I chose? Preparation to me, I kept being reminded from the great quote by John Wooden when he said that not preparing is preparing to fail. And part of why I think I was feeling off in my life at that time is things were going so fast that I wasn't getting the amount of time to be as prepared as I wanted to for a Sunday message or for an upcoming meeting or for a class I was teaching. That just that act of preparing for things helped me feel more centered, more prayerful, and more ready. And so I wanted to embrace a greater degree of preparation, not just actually preparing, but as a virtue. Feeling really prepared. I wanted to embrace receptivity because things were so full that I don't think I was opening up to receiving enough. And this may sound like a contradiction, but sometimes if all you're doing is giving, you leave no room for receiving. And so it was important for me to be more open to receiving more love, more abundance, more clarity, more connection and flow. Accountability for me meant a word that meant not being in control or owning every area of my life, but wanting to be accountable to everyone and for everything taking place around me. This is a kind of readiness. It's a kind of awareness. It's a kind of trust that says, I'm here. I'm ready. I'm reliable. I'm consistent. And so I wanted to be accountable. And then lastly, I wanted to be centered, or another word that I could have used is composure. I wanted to make sure that no matter what stressful thing or wonderful thing was taking place in my life, that I was still going to be me, that I was going to possess my circumstances as opposed to having my circumstance possess me. And I was going to always hold to that idea that I can respond to any challenging situation from a place of centeredness, composure, and genuine authenticity. And so there's a few ways to be with these virtues throughout your year. The one that was most common for me was to right around Monday or Tuesday, somewhere early in the week when I'm doing my meditation or my prayer work, is just to go to each virtue and to say, preparation. How do I want to be prepared for this upcoming week? And it could be that I want to make sure I'm really prepared for the Beyond Limits class that I'm going to teach. Or I want to be really prepared to have a great daddy-daughter date night on Friday with Nancy June and to figure out what restaurant we're going to go to and what we're going to do. Then I'd ask, where do I want to be receptive this week? I want to be more receptive to receiving love from my partner. I want to be more receptive to experiencing prosperity from all sources of the universe. Where do I want to be accountable? I want to be accountable to the staff at Mile High Church or to the congregation. I want to be accountable to myself to make sure that I'm taking time to exercise or to eat right. And where do I want to be centered? Well, I have this meeting coming up with so-and-so, or in looking at our budget for the fiscal year, wherever it may be, where do I want to most keep in composure? And so that's one way to practice your 4 virtues, is to once or several times a week or even every day to think about how you want to bring that virtue into practice, into action, into fruition. Another simple way to do it is just to take out a pen and some paper and to write each virtue and to see where you want it to show up in your life. I want to be prepared in this situation. I am receptive to this. I am accountable to. I am centered in. Whatever your 4 virtues are, the more that you practice them, the more that you embody them. And here's the incredible thing. When you really identify your heart virtues, there is much, if not more, who you are than who you think you are right now. And so as you embody these virtues, you begin to become more and more yourself, and your life begins to accord more and more to what these virtues are. I like to say that when it comes to virtues, that they're the thing I can trust the most. I would follow my virtues into hell if that's where they took me, because they're that important to me. There's a religious quality to them that says, if I practice honesty, it's not going to let me down, even if it creates some hurt for a while. That if I practice composure, it's not going to let me down. Your virtues will never let you down. They may cause you to grow. They may create or make things worse before they get better because you're in a difficult situation in your life. But if you really embody and practice your virtues, not only are they going to work and create a better life for you, but they're going to help you take care of yourself so that you can be the best of who you are. It's time to prioritize your life. It's time to prioritize yourself by identifying the best in who you are and bringing it intentionally, consciously, prayerfully into your everyday life. It is then, my friends, that you have set the creative medium of the universe into motion, and you can reap the benefits and the results.
So let's just take a deep breath and step fully into the knowing that God is all there is. Above, below, around, through, and within, there is only one power, one presence, one energy, one essence, one life, and that is the life of God. I see God in nature as the trees grow and bloom and change and shift. I see God in the gardens that grow. I see God in the ocean that moves, in the mountains that soar, in the animals that roam the earth. And I recognize that if God is anywhere, then God is everywhere. Right here, right now, within each one of us, that power and presence of life moves, lives, and has its being within each of us, for it is the very essence of who we are. There is nowhere where God is not. So I bask in this truth, I honor this truth, and I allow this truth to permeate every part of my beingness. So right here, right now, I affirm for each of us divine health, perfect wholeness, oneness with all that is. I know that our bodies are aligned with the truth of God. Every cell, every organ, every blood vessel, every thought, every movement aligns with God. Whatever may be outpicturing health-wise for any of us listening to this, I know that God moves freely and aligns and is the very essence of who we are. For we are divinely perfect, divinely manifested, divinely one with all that is. So I receive and accept and know perfect health for each person listening. I know it for myself. I know it for this planet. Divine health is the truth of who we are. It is the essence of all that is. It is the guiding force within. And I recognize that everything, if anything is God, everything is God. So the guidance that each of us receives, the medical support that we receive, the medications that we take, it's all aligned for our highest and our greatest good. God leads the way for each of us. We are one. We are whole, perfect, and complete. Life flows in, around, and through each of us. And it is good and so very good. And so I give thanks. I give thanks for knowing health and wholeness for each of us today. I give thanks knowing that the depths of who we are is God. And in God, all is well. Truly, all is well. I give thanks for the guidance. I give thanks for the support. I give thanks for the path that each of us leads. For I know it only unfolds greater expressions of the divine. And so with gratitude anchored deep in my heart, I release this prayer knowing it's been spoken. It is already done. I let it go in trust and in faith. And so it is.